Good morning, everybody. This video is pre-recorded for later on this afternoon for 1 p.m. This is a grief process broadcast. I was actually supposed to be on at 1 p.m. today, but I have something else to do today, so I figured I'd come up early this morning and do this for you all. So let me introduce myself, everybody. My name is Latricia Johnson, Remarkable Queen of Inspiration, the founder of One Time Ministry. And this segment is something I talked about a few months ago, and I kind of gave you an insight about grief. I want to introduce people who have never grieved before this whole segment about grief and what that looks like for your life. And it is an ongoing process. Okay, grief will take you in different elements of your life that you have never experienced before. Grief will make you really think about things that you never thought about before in your life. Everybody grieves differently. Everybody heals differently. And unfortunately, some people never heal and they end up going on and passing away. Okay. They have different levels of grief. You have angry, you have sadness, you have acceptance, denial. What else? You have uncertain moments. You have moments where you want to commit suicide or think about that. You have moments when you get depressed. You have moments when you get really, really low. You have bad days. The holidays and birthdays and anniversaries are the worst. A certain song or a certain movie or a certain memory just come to your face and it just slaps you in the face. And it reminds you of that person. And it reminds you of that person because you love them so much. And it's hard for you to disconnect from them because you were so connected to them while they was here on earth. And a lot of people struggle with that to this very day. There's people out there still talk about the story and still talk about the times and events that took place and people around them who have grieved and moved on with their life handle things differently. There comes a point in your life where you have to really reach out for support. And I really highly recommend grief support for those who are going through this. It really helped me out a lot for my own grief. And I can say I'm doing fairly better on this. And to be honest, I have a lot more gratitude in my heart than I had lately. I got things going on, but grief is like something I had to really learn about, something I had to go through, something I really had to understand. The support groups, the support groups really help. The Facebook groups really help. Any group that you can get connected to in terms of helping with your grief and being around a community of people that really support you really help. And I'm going to initiate this for On Time Ministry launching off next year, but I will not give you the date and time when that's going to happen. I'm going to create a support group for grief. And that is very important for this ministry and for people to really understand what grief really looks like and how that world looks completely different than the world that you are right now with everybody still in your life. Grief is an ongoing battle, like I said, and it calls you to have certain emotions and feelings, and it calls you to tune out and not be your normal self. When those grief outbursts happen, when those emotions happen, you are not the same person. Family, friends, and everybody keep telling you stay strong. You can't stay strong when you're hurting. You can't stand strong when you're grieving that bad. You'll be all right. In their mind, they think you're going to be all right, but in true reality, everybody grieves differently, and you're not going to be all right all the time. You're not going to have good days. You're not going to always be smiling. You're not going to always be happy. But by you going to support groups and reading the support books and getting the help that you need for yourself, you'll have a better understanding of how to heal properly. And I highly recommend support groups, everybody. I really do. Because it helped me and it helped others around me. And a lot of them still struggling with it. But when you make up in your mind, when you want to change some things within yourself, then you have a better understanding on what you should be doing within you. An anniversary or a birthday, all these things started to come to place. Celebrate their life. Remember them with a card. Have a memory platform or whatever it is. What am I going to do for my 1 year anniversary of my mom? I'm going out to her cemetery. And I told people that I wasn't going, but in honor of her, I will do that. Tell her I love her, tell her I care for her, and tell her I appreciate her. I have a conversation with her every day now and talk to her and speak to her, and she's listening to me. And I talk to her when I'm having a bad day now. I just had those one-on-one cautionation, and when I get stressed, I say, "Mama, I'm gonna be all right. God got me." And I always have to tell myself that now because I found myself drifting further into that place. She will always be in my heart. She will always be with me wherever I go. She's my guardian angel. Heck, she's the guardian angel to the whole title family. Most of you were like, dog, remarkable. That's been a turnaround for you. It is because for the last 11 months, I was on, and then people they tell me, get it together, snap it together. Let me explain something to you all about grief. You can't get people to do what you want them to do, okay? That's not how that works. If you're not equipped to give them the right advice, I advise you not to do that because people will snap and people will have a ticking time bomb that if you say anything to them, that'll put fuel on the fire. And that fuel will initiate another light and it cause them to really go off. And it's not your fault. They just have not received what you're saying to them. Their heart is full of darkness. They can't tell if it's night or day. And what I begin to understand about grief is people are going through this right now. People who have never grieved before are going through this right now. Talking, talking about, oh, I'm so tired of hearing rest in peace. Or I'm tired of hearing about people mourning. This is a part of life, ladies and gentlemen. The grief process webinar will be talked about for the remainder of this year, the 25th and the 26th of each month, because people really need to know how to handle their own trigger points. Certain things you shouldn't say when a person is grieving, certain phrases you shouldn't use, certain things that you intentionally say harm their spirit and they're going to attack you. And I'm going to be honest with you, they're really going to come after you and tell you about yourself. And then you're going to get mad. And then they may not speak to you for a while, never again. So you have to be mindful when you speak to somebody. You may not understand this. In reality, the world continues to go on living after the fact, but that person or family or loved ones are still going through the process of healing and processing everything. Everybody needs time to heal. Everybody needs time to process. Everybody needs to transition their life to a whole new era that they never expect to happen so suddenly. The grief process is an ongoing thing. And when I tell you, when you're going to cry, you're going to cry. When you're going to be sad, you're going to be sad. You may not be able to eat. You may be able to sleep. You may have to take some type of medication or go see psychiatrists and therapists for the rest of your life. If that's really severe, how significant the trauma is, because if your mind is not really processing and your health is starting to deteriorate because of all the events that happen, this here, the stomach here, holds a lot of worrishness. If you worry so much, it attacks your stomach and other elements of the body. And everything starts to not function properly. If you don't want to meet what you telling your stomach is what going to process, and everything else is not going to want to function. Because if you don't have any nourishment in your body or you haven't ate properly, these are the things that's going to happen. You're going to end up having a lot of problems health wise. You're going to end up having headaches. You're going to end up being stressed out. You're going to be getting sick. You're going to have all of these different things in your body not functioning properly because you haven't really been taking care of yourself the right way. Because you're so fogged, mine is so cloudy and foggy that you don't know if you're coming or going. Okay? Most people will say, oh, I went through this. And you know what's so good about having people who telling you their experience? It gives you an insight. It gives you ideas. It gives you a different perspective on things when it comes to grief. What this person has tried and what this person has done may have worked for them. But honestly, truthfully, would that work for you? You have to find something that really works for you. You have to find something that you really enjoy again. This is going back to a place that, hey, I know my loved ones and the significant and all of them are gone. What can I do to celebrate their life? What can I do to remember them? Yes, I'm going to cry, but I'm going to be there for that moment. I'm going to transition to that place where I need to remain confident in myself because my health and my well-being is attacked now because every time I weather down on them,
I'm causing my own health and my own stress and all my emotions to come down on me. They're resting in heaven. They're resting with the Father. They are fine. But it's us that's down here struggling and suffering through this misery and pain because we miss them so much. And that's the reality of it. People don't want to talk about the grief. Most people will get on social media and explain their emotions and feelings. And people who've been taught these different values and different teachings over the years never really sat down and dealt with their own grief. And if they dealt with it, they only dealt with it for that moment or that time they wanted to, and they shut it down. People will struggle with this, but when you get a whole insight, when you get a whole outlook on it, you start to really think about these different key points. And these key points are: how can I live again? What can I do to survive? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to have joy? Am I going to have peace? Am I going to have happiness? Am I going to be living a life that is amazing? How can I live my life without? How can I go on? And I'll tell you how you're going to go on. You're going to carry your bags. You're going to hold your head up real high. You're going to begin to speak life into yourself again. You're going to get connected with support groups to help you through that. If you got to go through that for years on end, do what you have to do. But as long as you're getting the help that you need to help you, God bless you. You have to get on here and talk about your loved ones every day. Release it. Don't hold it in. If you got to put pictures and memories and things, write in a journal or yell it out, shut it out as long as you release it. Don't keep those emotions and feelings in. Family and friends and people around you won't think you're crazy. But as long as you start to release it out in the atmosphere and be happy about it, you have a better release. And that release is when you release every emotion, every feeling, everything that you're feeling right now at this moment. You will be able to really heal when you let go of what you're feeling. And those feelings are normal to let go. Those emotions are normal to let go. You're gonna always miss your significant family ones and friends and all of them. They're gonna always be in your heart. But what you're gonna do is you're really gonna dig deep inside and ask yourself this question. My goodness, what does my loved one want from my life? What does my loved one want from my life? What does my friend want from my life? What does my significant other, my child, whatever the situation it may be, what do they want for you in your life? They want you to be happy. They want you to live a fulfilling life. They want you to not cry. They want you to live a fulfilling life. They want you to be happy. They want you to celebrate their life when anniversaries and birthdays come around. They want you to have a celebration because they're having a celebration with God. And they want you to do the same for them. You're going to cry because you miss them. It's normal. But when you think back deep down inside, who protected you through certain situations in your life? Who came through and made things whole again? You could have been gone, but you're still here. Let that meditate, everybody. Remember your loved ones, celebrate them, cry for the moment, and remember that they are in a better place. Remember that they are smiling down on you. It's up to you to want to move forward and go to the next level in your life. But you have to make change when you are ready. Grief is not a microwave sensation when you pop it in the microwave, put 2 or 3 minutes, you're ready to go. No, you got to go through each step. You got to climb that ladder each and every day. If you start to see improvement each and every day in your life, you will see a whole different transformation of yourself over time. But it takes time. And that's what the world doesn't have: time. And honestly, truthfully, we don't have time. But when you are ready, like I tell you, when you are ready to move to that next level, you'll know. And how will you know? Because something in the back of your mind will click just like that. And when it click, all these things that I'm saying to you will start to make a lot of sense. All these things that I'm speaking into you will start to make a lot of sense, because you will really see that, hey, Patricia was right. It's a fight, it's a battle, but I'm really doing it. Now, most of you say, Remarkable, I tried psychiatry, I tried therapy, I tried that, but nothing has helped. That means you are really in a deep, 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 deep grievance that you really need to seek real psychological help on that. And I read up on that too, that some people have a real deep, deep grievance that you really have to really go get help on that one, because it's psychologically in your mind, and your mind is playing images over and over again like a tape recorder that you cannot get out of your head. And this is where you have to get the real significant help on that, where you have to be medicated and you have to talk to these different people. And you have to do that for a very long time until you are willing to let go. And it can be a very, how would I say it, trying time for your life. Okay. That's that deep grief. That's that grief that's like way beyond your regular grief. That grief goes all the way up to the roof. And that grief right there, whew, that's a whole nother level right there, which we'll speak on in the next broadcast tomorrow. Okay? But I just wanted to talk to you all. Most people will like disagree with me, and at the end of the day, I'm sharing my experience and what I've learned about grief and how that looks. Most of you look at the video and wonder how I'm doing. I'm doing a lot better than I have in the last 11 months, I tell you that. A lot better. I'm not as crying as much. I'm not stressed out as much about that. I'm doing a fairly better on that. And my spirit is starting to really process all of that overall. I'm not coming here to convince anybody, but I know myself now. I really honestly thought August was going to be that month where I was going to be a mess, but it showed up in a different factor. And I am so blessed that it did. Okay. All right, everybody. My name is Latricia Johnson, Remarkable Queen of Inspiration, Minister Johnson, the founder of One Time Ministry. This was the Grief Process broadcast. Make sure you look at the replay throughout the day. I will be back on later on this evening for 7 p.m. Bible study review for On Time, and 7:30 p.m. for the women's Bible study on IG, Facebook, and Instagram. Have an amazing and a blessed day. Take care.